before the arenas, before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for our guest?
Send it to us via Messenger.
Here's your host, George Davis.
Well, hello. We are back with Before Nashville on a Thursday night. My week has been so crazy, I don't even know what day of the week it is. I actually had to ask a friend of mine yesterday what day of the week it is because it was just that bad. Tonight, I've got a young man, 24 years old. He's a singer-songwriter and an artist from Colts Neck, New Jersey. We have some very close friends in common, and I want to introduce you to him tonight. His name is Gary Frost. Gary, how you doing there, man?
Hey, what's going on, George? Thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. Always a fun time, and love having you guys on and just enjoying sitting back and talking. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, your publicist Nicole reached out to me, and she's one of those that I've worked with a lot in Nashville. So it's really hard for me to tell her no, I can't or I won't. So
she just demands it. I love it.
yeah, she's something else. So tell me a little bit about growing up on the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, so I would say, growing up there, it's every other weekend I was down at the beach. Back home, I lived 15 minutes from the beach at all times. And I just love being a part of the local music scene. I mean, country music back then didn't become a big thing until the last couple of years. So we spent a lot of our time, going to the boardwalks, playing, pickup basketball, really just spending a lot of time down the shore at the beach and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what I did growing up. And then transitioning to where I'm at now in Nashville, there's no beach. There's just a lake. So it's kind of different. They still have sand, which is weird, but it's not the same. I can tell it's not the same.
Well, and there is a river that runs through it, not to make a movie reference, but
yes, there is. It's been an adjustment for sure, not having the beach right down the road, but it's been cool so far.
Yeah, I can imagine it'd be a little bit of a culture shock going from that to Nashville.
Yeah, absolutely. But I wouldn't trade it. I love it. So
right.
Be here.
What about population wise? Has it ever kind of? I mean, is there a major population difference between the Jersey Shore and Nashville?
I think Nashville and anywhere. Yeah, I mean, Nashville always putting up new apartments, people everywhere. Jersey Shore is kind of spread out. People back then don't realize that the Jersey Shore not only is it the beaches, but a lot of people have a lot of land, and there's a lot of farms on the Jersey Shore. I grew up across the street from a bunch of farms and things like that with a lot of acres of land. So I didn't really have neighbors back in Jersey. Here, you look 5 seconds down the road, there's swarms of people in cowboy boots and in short skirts.
Yeah, and some of them are not real cowboys, but we'll leave that one alone. I'll say
99% of them.
Yeah. I forget somebody. What was it? Somebody called them one time asphalt cowboys or something like that.
I feel like that's a song, probably.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like if it's not, it ought to be. So there you go. There's an idea for you. You have to research that and see if it's a song already.
Exactly. If it's not, it's going to be.
There you go. So growing up on the shore, I mean, what was it like, hanging out with your friends and running around? I mean,
I would say it's just growing up in general, just kind of like everybody else really did. It was always something to do. A lot of the times we would go out boating, spend a lot of time, hanging out, at the mall, the movies, normal kid things. And then as I got older, it turned into the local bar scene. But the cool thing about the Jersey Shore bars is that they're all on the beach. So like half of it's like a dance floor, half of it's like a bar full of sand. And that was always the coolest thing. And on the weekends and stuff. It's just, the only other time you do that is when you're in like Florida or something like that.
Right. So, I mean, you've kind of taken a little bit of the modern country into that area. I mean, the cabin, the Stone Pony, some of those places that have the names um, or from the shore and stuff. Sorry, my phone was not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I would say there isn't really a lot of country, but like I said, in the last couple of years, I think they're just bringing in more national acts to
Right.
those areas. For example, that Stone Pony, that stage was actually made popular by Bruce Springsteen,
Hmm.
and he'd play. He pretty much opened up that place without being an owner to it. I mean, you think of the Stone Pony, everyone always thinks Bruce Springsteen. And I played there last year. I did the after party for one of the Jake Owen shows, and the
Okay.
turnout there was just incredible. I mean, country music fans will come in flocks no matter where you are. But in the Jersey Shore,
Right.
we've seen it a lot in the last couple of years, especially. A lot of the local radio stations, like Captain Jack's, we were talking about, help out with that a lot, and it really brings a lot of, you know, a lot of I don't know what the word is, but a lot of respect to country music that you wouldn't get in places that just don't put on these live shows.
Right. And you mentioned Captain Jack, and we were talking about him before we went on. He had a internet station down in Nashville called Renegade Radio, and then he moved back to Jersey, where he's originally from,
Mhm.
and he started Jersey Shore Radio, which was kind of like kind of a Northeast version of Renegade Radio.
Yep.
And he's done a lot for a lot of country artists. I mean, he has really helped a lot of their careers, and especially the independent country artists. And that's one of the things Captain Jack and I have in common that we've talked about is just the independent artists, like yourself, and how these guys are the next wave of, country music.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with Captain Jack, I actually met him doing yeah, it was through Jersey Shore, his radio show. It was like a talent contest, and I was about 17 years old, and I grabbed a bunch of my buddies' dads, friends and stuff who were in a band, and I had them play with me. We did like 4 songs, and I actually met Captain Jack that night. I made it through like 2 rounds or something. It was for Jersey Shore country. That was years ago, but
Right.
that's how I even first found out about him, and then just seeing what he's done. You guys do for local and independent artists. It's just great knowing that people are out there supporting.
Right. So how old were you? Because I mean, you're a singer, a songwriter, you're an artist, you play guitar. Tell us a little bit about the home life. I mean, what was that like?
Yeah. So as far as like the home life with music, I'd say there's just a lot of writing songs. I mean, I really fell in love with writing songs. Every day after work, I used to work in a blue collar job, heating and air conditioning, for about 8 years as my dad's company. And then after work, I'd always find myself either coming home and writing songs or meeting up with some buddies and jamming. I just fell in love with it. It just felt like it was a way to escape, working in crawl spaces during the day and stuff. And it just kind of stuck with me. And I would say I started really pursuing music as a whole. I was about 16, 17 years old. So that was, yeah, a bunch of years ago. I'm really dating myself here. But yeah, no, I mean, just the home life in general, everyone's been so supportive back home, you know, coming out to local shows, coming out to these bigger shows I have when I open up for bigger acts and stuff like that. And it's just been a great transition. And it's been really helpful for me, as an artist, independent artist, really making that swing.
Who were some of the influences that you were listening to back then?
I would say a lot of that came from like my mom because she loved country music. My dad was more like '70s guy, and she was listening to Luke Bryan, Hootie and Blowfish. Um, Travis Tritt was a big one. It's kind of like that. Those guys that have that country sound, but it's kind of got that rock feel to it. Poppy a little bit. Luke Bryan, Travis Tritt's got that rock feel. I'd say a lot of my inspiration came from listening to whatever my mom was listening to at the time. So it's really those guys.
Right. Who would you say was the one artist that you really looked up to?
Actually, that would be Ed Sheeran, and it's not even in country music, surprisingly enough. He's the one that actually made me fall in love with songwriting. Back when I was 12, 13, first starting out, taking singing lessons and stuff, writing my own songs. I just fell in love with his music, how real and how raw it was. and I kind of tried to go the whole pop route for a bit until I found, that wasn't for me. I wanted to do
Right.
more country. But he's the one that really made me buy my first guitar, just from listening to his stories and stuff, and the way he tells a story in a song is just incredible. And I wanted
Right.
to do that. So that's what made me pick up guitar in the first place.
Well, and the interesting fact is he's kind of got some country connections now. When Luke Combs was playing over in England, he brought out Ed Sheeran at one of his shows. And Ed has even been in Nashville doing some stuff from what I've heard. Now, that's rumor on
Yeah.
the street. I don't know if that's true, but
Yeah, I went to that his concert here at Nissan Stadium, and he told us that he used to live in Nashville actually for a couple of years.
oh, wow.
And I missed out because there's a bar he always go to called Santa's Pub, and
Mhm.
I've been there a bunch of times, but I should have known. He went there after his concert, and there was like 40 people there, and he posted videos, and then it blew up, and he left. But I go there decent amount. I just this one night I didn't. I should have, and I would have met him. I would have met my idol if I did, but I
Oh, man.
didn't.
That's a
Gonna play.
bummer.
I know it's depressing, but maybe one day.
Right. Now, I got to ask because I was looking through your and you have the song "Shut Up, Springsteen." Um, what kind of tell everybody what that's about? Because some people may hear that and they're going to go, "Wow, he's just kind of rude."
Yeah. No, I've gotten that a lot actually, and funny story about that. When I played that at the Stone Pony, and people were throwing things at me because they didn't understand it. Like I told you, that was the home of Bruce Springsteen. Um, but yeah, the whole idea behind that song actually it didn't come from a place of hate towards Bruce. I actually like Bruce Springsteen. But when I first met my girlfriend, as of now, first song she put on in the car when I picked her up the first night I met her was "Dancing in the Dark" by Bruce Springsteen. And I was just thinking one day, years later, I was like listening to that song, and I'm like, man, what would happen if like we broke up? Like I would never be able to listen to this song again. And
Exactly.
and just from there, that's where the idea came. Like, shut up, Springsteen. Like, and then I just kind of dug into some of his other discography and stuff like that, and that's how that song came together. A lot of people do think it's like an "I Hate You" Bruce song, but
Uh-huh.
if they really listen to the lyrics and stuff, they'll see like it's supposed to be like "I respect you so much, please shut up,"
Right.
you know, type
Yeah.
thing.
It's kind of like Scotty McCreery's "Damn Straight."
Exactly. Same kind of concept. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and I mean, I think it's kind of a cool concept. It's something, you're going to tick some people off if they jump on the title, but until they listen to the song, hey, back off, be calm,
and
chill.
and a lot of people will back off and listen to it, but I've had the people that are so diehard Bruce they don't even care. If I just
Right.
whisper his name wrong, they'll just not like it. But I don't make music to please everybody. So
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Um, as a songwriter, and this is one of the questions that I really enjoy asking. What is one song that you've heard that you just go, man, why didn't I write that song?
um, "When It Rains It Pours" by Luke Combs. That's one
Mm,
of my favorite country songs, and I write a lot of my stuff similar to that upbeat vibe. And
hmm
I really wish I had that one or just thought of that idea. It was such a clever idea. It's one of those very generic things like shit happens like, oh, when it rains, it pours. He
right.
just he just had the right. He must have had that in that moment, caught that lightning, and just put it to paper. It's one of those
Right.
like common sayings that you just like people say, and that's why when I try to write, I try to think of like kind of other common sayings like that's how I got my other song, "Pretty Mad." It's kind of the same idea, to kind of talk about that. But like I'm pretty mad right now. Like when it rains, it pours. It's like these common things people say that I
Right.
just that's probably the one.
Just kind of the tongue in cheek aspect of it, is kind of the cool thing that I really like.
Hmm.
Um, if you were to collaborate with an artist, because collaboration seems to be the it crowd right now for country music.
Yeah.
You know, who would you want to collab with?
And that's a good question. I would like to say Luke Combs, but I don't have that whole deep sound that he has and that trucker sound, which I love. But someone that I feel might cater more towards me and that I would just love to meet in general would probably be like Chris Lane. I'd say
Mhm.
I really do love his music a lot, and I feel like I have a lot of similarities when it comes to the songs that I play with him. So I would love to just meet him. Honestly, if I don't collab, just just to meet him.
Right,
But that'd
right.
probably be my first dream collab. Either him or Cole Swindell. Same reasons, same vibe of
Okay.
music.
Okay. Yeah. Um, Matter of fact, Chris just came out with a new one not too long ago. I think I've been seeing a lot about it on the trades, and I
Yeah.
haven't really get to listen to it yet. But
Mhm.
so, if you were to classify your music, this is the way that I do it. I look at country music as being a genre, but then there's these subgenres that are kind of wrapped up in it. You've got kind of the Americana country, you've got the traditional, you've got the hip hop, if you want to call it that. And you've got pop country and country rock, and now alternative country is starting to get big with some of the songs that are out about that. Where would you put yourself?
I would definitely put myself more in the pop country side. I mean, just growing up in general, I mean, I did listen to a lot of pop. Ed Sheeran is pop, and that's where a lot of my influences came from. When I really got into country music, writing and playing, I tried to emulate a lot after like Florida Georgia Line,
Right.
just because I love their music. And they're all on that poppy side. And I know a lot of people don't like the pop country; they like traditional country and roots country. But realistically, that's probably where I'd put myself, more on the pop side,
Right.
modern country, pop country, that type of thing.
Do you feel like right now in the industry, because there's so many that are doing the more like traditional sounding, do you feel like that the pop country is kind of not necessarily fading out, but not as strong as it was, say, a year or two ago?
It's definitely possible. I mean, a lot of people are swinging more towards like the likes of like Zach Bryan, for example. He's
Mhm.
not really pop, but what he does is so unique that it's drawing a lot of the country crowd. Um, I don't think it's ever going to fade away just because there's such a large market and there's so many fans of country music that everybody can kind of take what they want. And a lot of the stuff on the radio nowadays, from just being in the car, is still a lot of pop country.
Right.
Um, I mean, maybe in this area, I know at least at the Jersey Shore, it's all pop country. Maybe the more out west you go, it changes. Um, but the most west I've been is Nashville so far, so I wouldn't know. I'm making my way.
Right, just gradually getting there. You do a lot of shows even now in New Jersey, even though you're in Nashville, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I try to stay a little relevant in the area. I do a lot in New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, the whole Jersey kind of East Coast, and then I do a lot of stuff here in Nashville as well. So it's a
Right.
healthy mix, I'd say.
Where's the one area, state, either way you want to put it, that you would really like to play?
Um, that's a good question. I would probably say maybe down in Florida, like a big thing, just so I can go to Florida. Like, I mean,
Spring
yeah,
break.
right. I mean, there's a lot of cool festivals in Florida. Like, I think Tortuga is one of them.
Mhm.
I want to get into one of those big festivals. Just as like an opening act, pre-stage type thing. Um, I mean, I've played shows on bar stools, in Florida. I've done a couple like small songwriter things, but not like a real big show. That's
Right.
probably one of my dream places to play at a festival somewhere down south, not necessarily in Florida, but somewhere over there.
Now, when you're not doing like the songwriter rounds, which a lot of, I mean, all the singer songwriters do,
Yeah.
um, I mean, are you backed by a full band? Do you have a band, or do you have to leash your guys out, or how do you do that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, so right now my band that I play with, a lot of the shows that I do in Nashville, or pretty much all of them for the most part, are those songwriter rounds. I really focus on the songwriting craft here. And then
Mhm.
more of like a live band stuff I do back at the Jersey Shore, which is I have a group of guys that I have back there. So we'll
Okay.
travel from like Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, that whole strip down there. But when the time comes, I will get the band together, down here, whatever it takes.
Right.
But my main focus right now has been like the songwriting craft itself and just developing myself as a writer and as an artist. So I'm not really worried about the full band stuff in Nashville because it's everywhere.
Right.
People are really here, they're listening for the song, in my opinion.
Right. Right. They're not so much into the technical side. They're just into the party.
You go to Broadway, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Broadway, exactly. Which is a nightmare for a lot of artists. It's a nightmare for people, period.
Yeah, that's I haven't played on Broadway. I don't have any plans on playing on Broadway. I've heard some horror stories. I've heard some good things. I've heard some bad things. I don't think that'd be for me though.
Right.
Just depends. I mean, I've heard a lot of people do some damage to their voice and stuff like that. Because I mean, they're going hard. They'll play for like 4 hours during the day, 4 hours at night. And if like you love that and that's what you do, by all means, you guys do a kick-ass job. Me personally, I couldn't do that.
Right. That's I mean the downside of that is as an artist, your voice is your primary instrument. And if you start doing that kind of stuff, you could you could possibly put yourself out of work.
Yeah, and then you're not working with your hands if you don't have a voice. What are you gonna do?
Right. Exactly. Hopefully you're good enough to become a guitar player or some kind of,
Yes, at that
or
rate, yeah.
yeah, if you still want to be on stage. Um, what is the I'll say this aside from the Stone Pony because of the history of that particular venue. What's the one venue that you have just absolutely enjoyed playing?
I would say that came from a more recent one I did a couple weeks ago. It was in Jersey as well, but it was this place called Jenks Club.
Hmm.
And what that is, it's right on pretty much right what I said. It's right on the beach. That was another opening act show. So I opened up for Chase Matthew. That was about last month. Just the way the venue's set up in general, it's so nice. I mean, you got the huge crowd of people, you got the nice ocean waterfront right there, and they got the whole production, the backstage. I mean, that's probably one of the dream places I wanted to play for a long time in New Jersey. Just growing up, going to shows there, um,
Hmm.
and then just being on that stage, it was a pretty cool feeling.
Right. What's the first show you ever went to?
In general, I would probably it was probably Florida Georgia Line at this big concert center in New Jersey back when I lived there, and that's what really got me hooked into like country. I think that's when I made the swing from Ed Sheeran pop to like country pop, is like seeing them and being like, wow, this is kind of the same thing, but I like the storytelling aspect behind it a lot better.
Right. Right.
And yeah, and that was probably I was 14, 15 years old in high school still. And I'll never forget
Hmm.
that first show was Florida Georgia Line. I think it was Dan and Shay. So it
Okay.
was crazy lineup at the time. And I think Morgan Wallen might have opened the show,
Right.
which is not to think about. But yeah, but yeah,
That's nuts. That is nuts. Um, as a as a songwriter, you're do you feel like after being in Nashville that you are a different songwriter than what you were before you moved to Nashville? Or had you kind of gotten the craft honed while you were in New Jersey and brought it to Nashville and it's kind of, been the same?
that's a good question. I would say that it's two totally different types of songwriting that I've been exposed to.
Mhm.
The first one was in New Jersey, back home. I pick up the guitar, write a song by myself, an hour or two, and I'm done. Nashville, the big thing here is co-writing.
Mhm.
So I got used to that pretty quickly. Different co-writes, different people. You kind of find out who you're good with, who you don't match with. Kind of like dating, in a weird
Right.
way. But it really I like it better with the co-writing because if I have a bad idea and I'm by myself, I'm not gonna know it's a bad idea. I'm just gonna put it in the song and forget about it. But if you have 2 or 3 other people there, they'll be there to tell you like, "Hey, maybe we should do this different," or "Hey, we should say this differently." So I definitely think being here helped me grow as a songwriter very much, and I still am. Every time I pick up the guitar with somebody.
Right. Did you, over the past few years with everything that's gone on, did you do a lot of Zoom writing?
Surprisingly, no. I didn't really get too much into the Zoom writing. It's For me, it's always been a little difficult to write on Zoom.
Hmm.
Um, just because like I'll start playing, it'll be lag, and someone will have to sing behind it. So anytime I did writes over not being together, we would do a lot of like voice memos and just send stuff back and forth. 4 or 5
Okay.
times, just get an idea, and then next time I saw them, really get into it.
Okay.
But I never
That's
really went the Zoom route too much. It was just too one of those things I just didn't have the patience for.
right. That's the first time I've heard anybody say they use voice memos for songwriting. Usually it was Zoom stuff, and I can understand where that would be kind of a pain, but
Yeah, just like
that's
trying to
interesting.
sing over somebody else playing. It just yeah.
Right. Right. Um, if there was a artist that has passed that you could sit down and have a meal with and talk to them, who would that be?
That is a good question. Just thinking off the top of my head, um, probably the original Showman. I mean, I didn't listen to too much of his music, but just the way he held the stage, probably Elvis Presley.
Yep.
And for that, just the way he like captivated an audience. Um, I did one of the Elvis Presley tours when I first came here, and it was like it showed us his first like studio he recorded in. It was like Studio B or something like that.
Right.
It's so inspiring, and I mean the way people all flock for Elvis and just have such a great appreciation for him. I would just love to sit down and just ask him like what he did, like why he thought the way he did.
Right.
Gain a sense of like where he was at. And he's one of the most respected musicians of all time. People would say. Just to pick his brain for a little bit would probably be beneficial to where I'm at and where I'm trying to go.
Right. Right. He was a little bit on the eccentric side. If you've ever been to Graceland,
Mm.
if you're not and you get to Memphis, you need to go.
Hey, weird is good.
Uh, so there you go. And I mean, it's a very eccentric. I, I went there and I was like, holy cow.
Hey, I haven't been to Memphis yet. I've not gone down that far yet. I think that's about 2.5 hours from here. Just never made the trip, but it's definitely on my list. Check that out.
Yeah. Um, have you played a lot of what I call the dive bars? Like just a small little bars that, you pass them on the road and you're going, wow. But once you get inside, it's a whole bit different atmosphere.
Yeah, I did a lot of those. A lot of the times it was just me and the guitar. Then it became me and the band playing in front of the same bar crowds and stuff. Pretty cool. I mean, I played this one place in New Jersey, and I went there, and there was probably like 7 people there, and I was expected to play for 3 hours, and I did, and I could just tell these people were miserable. They probably just wanted to tell me to turn around and shut up. Like people got up and left when I started. I think I ended the night with like 3 people there, and 2 of them were my parents. But
Uh,
yeah, I mean, no, I've played a bunch of bars like that. I've played good ones, I've played big ones, but I've also played crappy ones.
right.
It's just the way it goes. I try to not. One of the things I like to live by is that you say yes to everything until you have the luxury of saying no, and that's
Right.
something somebody told me, and that just stuck with me for a while now, and it makes
That's a
sense. I
very
mean,
good point.
you never know which opportunity is going to come from what, so why would you say no to something?
Right.
And that
That
just
that's a really good point. I like that.
yeah, that stuck with me for a while now, for being down here especially.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you? Do you prefer the crowds in Jersey compared to what you played around Nashville?
It depends what I'm going for. If I'm going to just have a good time, have fun, New Jersey. I mean, people just get
Mhm.
rowdy, they have fun, they buy me shots, things like that. But if I want people to actually listen to the lyrics and understand what I'm saying, then Nashville, 100%,
Right.
because they know the people here are the songwriters, of the country. People come here to write songs. If I'm looking for just a good time, just to have fun, just to perform in front of a large crowd, I'll take Jersey Shore. It's fun, but definitely for the meaning of the song and being an artist in itself, nothing beats Nashville. I mean, just doesn't.
Right. Now, you've opened for people like Jake Owen and Michael Ray and Southside Johnny, which is one of the I think aren't they like a Jersey band?
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time Jersey guys.
I mean, I know of them, but who have you opened for that you were just kind of like sitting in the wings and going, wow, I like the way you're picking up pointers from them.
Yeah, out of those guys specifically, I would say Michael Ray because he was probably the first major artist that I opened up for. That was
Hmm.
a couple of years ago, and just the way he held the crowd, I stayed after to just kind of watch him and just kind of absorb. Um, Everybody knew every word he was singing. I mean, the way he got the crowd so involved, it was just really like eye opening to see. Like, it's not just about going up there and singing the songs; it's about creating like an experience. He did
Right.
it. He'll forever, in my mind, be one of the best guys at doing that at a show. Like, and I would say that probably taught me a lot of how to perform on stage and how to react to a crowd, things like that.
Right. You talked about your new single. It was released in early August, and so I want to play that for the folks real quick, if you don't mind, and kind of let them hear it, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it,
Yeah,
and you kind of give us a backstory and stuff on it. All right.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So here's Gary Frost. This is called "Pretty Mad," and it's on Before Nashville.
You say I'm playing games and pushing all your buttons, but I like it when you give me that look, cause you think I'm up to something. Trying to get a rise from pushing the line, but girl, don't lie, you love it when you start curling your lips and start fussing like this. That's how I know I done it. Girl, you're looking pretty mad right now, but still looking so good somehow. Yeah, you wanna be mean, you're not fooling me, but the wild in your eyes is killing me now. Girl, wait till we get back home, take it out on me when we're all alone. I got you all worked up and I'm kinda glad, baby, when you get like that. I've never seen someone so pretty mad. When you call me by my middle name, I know I struck a nerve. And start talking crazy, saying words I ain't ever heard. You might throw me out, make me sleep on the couch, but hell, I swear it's worth it. Cause girl, you're looking pretty mad right now, but still looking so good somehow. Yeah, you wanna be mean, you're not fooling me, but the wild in your eyes is killing me now. Girl, wait till we get back home, take it out on me when we're all alone. I got you all worked up and I'm kinda glad, baby, when you get like that. I've never seen someone so pretty. Pretty when you're happy, pretty when you're sad. You're the prettiest when you're mad. Girl, you're looking pretty mad right now, still looking so good somehow. Yeah, you wanna be mean, you're not fooling me. The wild in your eyes is killing me now. Girl, wait till we get back home, take it out on me when we're all alone. I got got you all worked up and I'm kinda glad. Baby, when you get like that, I've never seen someone so pretty. Someone so pretty. Someone so pretty. Mad. Whoa, pretty mad. Pretty when you're happy, pretty when you're sad. You're the prettiest when you're mad.
That is Gary Frost with "Pretty Mad," and we kind of talked about that being a little tongue in cheek, and just kind of give me some idea about the song itself, the writing of it, and things like that.
Yes, so I wrote that song with four, including me. There's three of my good friends here: Drake Lopez, Justice Storm, Kalen Cole. I showed up at the right, and I had the idea of writing a song about. It was inspired by my girlfriend, but like she always looks like when she's mad, just when she's pretty pissed off. It's like that's when she kind of looks the best, And and it's funny because like they know my girlfriend, they know that I piss her off a lot. So they're like, "This is the perfect song for you." So I had the idea. It was like, "I never seen someone so pretty mad," and then we kind of worked around that. But yeah, we went into that. We wrote that song, and I was like, I want it to be very poppy. I want it to be something that pops off to people. I want it to sound like, she's pissed off me, but I want it to be kind of like a love song. And that's kind of the idea that it took, because it kind of talks about like a play on words almost. It's like you're looking pretty mad right now.
Right.
It's like you're looking pretty pissed off, but then it ends with you never seen someone so pretty, comma mad.
Right.
But it's one of those play on word things, one of those things we were talking about before with that Luke Combs song, very similar kind of word playing. And I just wanted something that wasn't, about telling Bruce Springsteen to shut up. I wanted something more upbeat. So that's why I put this one out.
Something a little less dangerous when you're singing it on stage in Jersey, right?
I think I'm okay in Jersey now with this one. But this one did pretty well for me, actually. We put it out about 2 weeks ago. It flew past 100,000 streams in about 2 weeks, which I was shocked. That was awesome. And it's doing pretty well now. I was just really happy about that because the song meant a lot to me.
Right. Right.
One of my stuff.
I'm just looking over some of the questions here, and I'm trying to pick out a couple of good ones to really come at you with. This is always a good one. Stage moments. What's your most embarrassing stage moment?
I got a good one for that. So this was actually after that Southside Johnny band. So we did the after party for them. So they got off. We came on. We're all prepped. The whole crowd was all pumped up because, they were all hyped up. Southside Johnny just played. Everyone's going crazy. There's probably about 400, 500 people inside the Stone Pony. I go to strum my first chord, and my guitar's dead. My batteries were dead. I forgot.
Oh, no.
We set up before the show started, so my guitar was on stage, and I left my guitar on. There's a way to turn the acoustic guitar off so it's not stuck on all the time. I left it on, drained the battery.
Oh, no.
I played the whole show without a guitar because I didn't have a spare one. So it was fine. It was a 5-piece band, so they just picked up,
Right.
We rehearsed for it, with the guitar. It was just funny. And people knew too. I was just like, shit. Because the guitar just sat there all night, I took
It's like,
it out.
what do you do? I mean, do you just keep strumming and fake it, or do you just kind of go, oh, well,
At that point,
what am I going to do?
I was just like, well, you guys are going to know. But it was funny. I mean, we recovered well, though. But in that moment, I couldn't even be mad. I was like, it's just funny.
Right.
It was just hilarious.
So, if somebody came up to you and they said, describe your personality as one of these people, Okay, how would you describe your personality as Jim Carrey,
Mhm.
Mariah Carey, or Kanye West?
Oh God, what a question. Um, I would have to rule out Mariah Carey because I don't have the range she does, and I can't sing that high. Um, I'd go Jim Carrey just because I love having fun. I love being funny. I love being the center of attention. Kanye West does too, but he's kind of mean. I just don't think I'm a mean person. I'm always laughing, always smiling. My friends, they like being around me. I mean, I don't know. Jim Carrey's just an awesome dude, and I feel like I try to just be happy. I feel like there's a lot of
Yeah.
fun with Kanye West.
Yeah, Conway's a whole different kind of out there.
Yeah, yeah, no, but yeah, that's a good question. That's fun.
Um, what song have you heard lately that's been stuck in your head?
Um, that is a good question. So there's a little bit of a backstory to this one. The song "Man Made" by Matt Stell. Well, he just
Mhm.
put it out recently. It was originally cut by Granger Smith, but it was written by a buddy that I played a show with down in Georgia. His name is Brett Cherokee, and he played it, and I didn't know he wrote it. And he started playing it, and I was like, "Damn, this is cool." And like since then, I've just been listening to it on a repeat. And I don't know why, because I think the way he described writing that song, because that song, it was a pretty big hit, so it was cool,
Right.
being with him playing that. The way he described writing it and everything that went into it behind it, it was a story his wife wanted a love song, he said, and he wrote it with one of his best friends. In the moment, just the way he told it and portrayed it, I've just been re-listening to it over and over again, hearing the lyrics. I'm like, oh, that's how he did that, or that's why he did that. That's so clever, you know. It
Right.
just been on repeat for me. It's at the top of my most recent listen to.
The funny thing is, I've interviewed Brett, and I did not know that he did not mention that in the interview.
Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was playing with him down at one of these amphitheaters in Georgia 2 months ago, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't know he wrote that song either until he started playing it. He's got a couple pretty big ones. He's got a Blake Shelton one he played too. Bible
Mhm.
verses.
Right.
The way he described that was crazy. Like that, the lines in that song, like is it Bible verses or the Bible versus me? That's like next level. That's
Right.
I was just blown away by that. But yeah, just hearing like the construction of the song, and knowing that I've heard that song before, it's just been on repeat. The Granger Smith version, especially, like the first
Yeah.
version, yeah, it's been nonstop.
I'm a huge Granger fan, and we're friends with him and
Mhm.
and his crew. We've actually been several shows. I've introduced him. We've hung out on his bus. I mean, he's just a cool dude. Um, if if you had to say what your perfect crowd size was that you feel most comfortable playing in front of, what would that be?
I would say a couple hundred,
Mhm.
and I've done that a bunch more so than not. Just because it's not too big to the point where you can start to see people like out in the distance not paying attention. Usually, if it's 300 or 400, you can keep them kind of contained and keep them all energetic and stuff. But the further back they are, it's harder to keep everybody engaged.
Right.
Which is why around that couple hundred mark is usually my sweet spot. What I love to do because I love to interact a lot with the crowd. I love to like throw out koozies and talk to people, meet people, things like
Mhm.
that. Um, but anything bigger than that kind of just gets hard, really does.
Right.
But I'll never turn down playing in front of more people. It just won't be as kind of intimate, I guess, is the word.
Right. Right.
Um, but I've done big crowds, I've done medium crowds, I've done crowds with three people. So I've done it all.
Have you ever done like some of the artists I've seen a lot of them starting to do this, but where they'll pull somebody out of the crowd to sing, like if it's a duet or something like that, Dustin Lynch and oh what was that song that he just had with, and I can't remember her name now.
Was it
Um
Mackenzie something?
yeah, Mackenzie Porter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And when he was out on tour, and Mackenzie wasn't with him, I think she did go for a few shows, but he would always pull somebody out of the crowd to sing her
Yeah.
part.
Yeah,
You know,
that's really cool. I haven't done anything like that yet. I want to put out a duet, so maybe I could do that eventually.
hmm
But I've given the microphone whenever I do like some cover songs. A lot of songs that I would usually mix in is like Wagon Wheel. Throw the
right?
mic down to somebody, let them sing a little bit. It's just always fun. They're always screaming into the microphone, which is even more fun. But,
Right.
that's probably the closest I've done to that. I mean, I would love to pull somebody out and they just have like a perfect voice. I would let them
Right.
play the rest of the show. I'd be like, here, go.
Right. What's your favorite cover song to do?
um, that's a good question. I would probably say so. Whenever I play these shows, usually it depends how long the show is. Say it's like an hour and 15 minutes. That's like 14, 15 songs. I'll probably throw in like 2, 3 covers just to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Right.
I do this one mashup where I do When It Rains, It Pours, first verse, chorus, and then I go into Who Says You Can't Go Home by Bon Jovi. I do
Oh, wow.
first verse, chorus, and then I kind of bounce back and forth a little bit and then end it out with the it's all right, that part. Um, I love
Mhm.
doing the mashups though. I mean, that's probably my favorite one to do. I do a couple different mashups. I'll mash up another one bites the dust and Country Girl Shake It for me. And then one I did what was it? A couple weeks ago when I played with Seaforth. We did what did we do? I mashed up something with one of my songs actually with Shut Up Springsteen. I mashed it up with Play It Again by Luke Bryan. Just because
Oh,
like the chord, they fit, pretty in country. There's not too many chord variations. A
right.
lot of it's the same kind of 4 chord country songs. So a lot of the songs play together very well.
Right.
So I just love doing those different kind of like twists and stuff like that. More than my hometown, I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas. They blend so well. It just keeps it fun. So I would say some of those covers probably my most favorite to play.
Those sound like a lot of fun, man. You sound like you have a great time at your shows.
It just catches everybody off guard. It's just like going from country to just something random. I just love
Right.
it.
Right. That's just cool. And I'm a mashup guy. I like hearing that stuff, like there's a guy on TikTok that's a DJ Eric or something like that that does that a
Mhm.
lot. And I'm just like, man, if I had half the skills he had in DJing, I'd go back to it, but I'm not
Oh
even
yeah.
there.
Oh
And
yeah.
so um let's see. Out of the songs that you have currently that are on the streaming platforms where people have heard, what's the one that you want to be remembered for?
Um, that's a good question. I would say if without picking Springsteen, um, one of the songs that has the most meaning to me, or that I think commercial wise, it's called "World Without You."
Mhm.
And it's kind of just it's basically what it sounds like. It's that idea of like living in a world without you. It's like getting used to all these things that you guys did together, and then one day it just stops. And I feel like with music, I've had people reach out to me specifically about that song and say like, "This helped me get over a breakup. This helped me get over, someone dying. One of my friends, like grandpa's died, and he said he somehow listened to it a lot, and it kind of helped him, just kind of push through it and realize like, the world's gonna go on."
Right.
I would say that song is the most sentimental meaning to me. If people can remember me for that song, I would love that. And actually, I did that song with a girl who's in town, also named S.J. McDonald. She sang on that with me, so she's a friend of mine. So it'd be pretty cool if that was the one that did something for me or people remember me by.
Right. Let's see here. Um, let's talk about. I see a lot of musicians on social media who sometimes are kind of down and they're struggling because maybe things aren't going the way they thought it would, or I mean they're just some of those people that deal with some kind of maybe emotional issues, mental illness. I don't want to say mental illness because that puts such a stigma on people.
Yeah.
But have you ever struggled with self-doubt as a musician? Primarily from the angle of that song, it's like, or from the angle of that song, that question is, about your career, is this where I'm supposed to be? When are things going to change? When are
Mhm.
they going to get better? Or why are they so bad right now? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think as an independent artist, a lot of people are in that same position. It's like you never know when your break is going to come. And, being in the music industry, it's very draining. I mean, you got to really see through the end to get somewhere and to make, something happen. Um, and I've had times like that too, where I'm like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be down in Nashville? All my friends and family are back in New Jersey, but it's like, there's always that one thing that just keeps pulling me back. I'll write one song that I just am like, wow, with like some co-writers. And I'm like, okay, this is why I'm here. But I've heard nothing happens overnight, and that's what helps me get through it a lot. A lot of these success stories you hear, these artists, they weren't one night wonders. It
Right.
took time to get there, and willing to put in that time. That just kind of helps me stay grounded towards having a purpose of being here. Whenever I feel any sort of self doubt, it just kind of helps knowing that everyone that got to where I want to be went through this as well.
Right. Right. Well, they call Nashville the 10-year town and you're halfway through it. So you still got time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Right. It seems like that's kind of the make or break time, but I know a lot of people that have been down there a lot longer and they're still doing what they were. And it comes down to, loving what you do.
Yeah, yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. I mean, if you didn't love what you were doing, then it wouldn't be worth it at all.
Right. Absolutely. Um, let's see. As being an independent artist, what do you feel like are some of the biggest challenges that independent artists face?
I would say a lot of that is just getting those opportunities. For example, a lot of people that are signed or either to a record label or to a publishing company. There's people whose job it is 24/7 to match you with the right people, the right talent. As an independent artist, you have to go out there and find that yourself and prove to them, like, I deserve to be in this room. I deserve to be on this stage. And a lot of it's just knowing somebody. Being an independent
Right.
artist, you don't have that luxury of reporting to somebody that knows everybody. You got to build those connections yourself. And I would say that's one of the most difficult things for anybody on the independent scene, just getting their foot in the door, really, anywhere.
Right. I One of the sayings I live by is it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Mm, yeah, that's one of my dad's sayings too. He says that all the time. It's true. It really is. But that's how you make
Uh,
the connections. 10-year town. You got a lot of time to make those connections.
exactly. Um, let's see. Oh, I had one here that I saw that I really wanted to ask. Oh, who do you feel like is what band, solo artist, male, female, duo, whatever, right now that you feel is so underrated that they
That's
need to be heard?
um, I would say a lot of music lately that I've been listening to that I feel like they deserve a lot more recognition. And they don't really get a lot of respect. Maybe just on like the radio and stuff like that. Cody Johnson. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like his songs are so crafted. The lyrics in those songs are like amazing. Like I love one of his songs specifically called "Monday Morning Merle," and
Yep.
it's crazy. He only has like one or two songs that have been on the radio. Same with like Chris Stapleton.
Mhm.
I mean, they get the recognition, but I feel like they should be ahead of people like Zach Bryan. Like I don't know. I just feel like he's been around so long and he's been doing it so consistently well. I just feel like I don't hear his name as much as I should. Cody
Right.
Johnson specifically. Um,
Right.
I feel like, yeah, definitely underrated. I mean, still a big artist, but I feel like he deserves a lot more recognition.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're getting set for a show, what kind of pre-show ritual do you have?
Usually take a shot at Honey Jack Daniels. Depending on the show, if I'm playing a song right around, I'll just show up. But if I'm
Right.
doing like one of those live band shows, just loosen up the vocal cords, we'll call it. take a shot, and just go out and have fun. I mean, it's sort of like that's why people are there. They're not, those big shows like that. They're not there to listen to the lyrics. They're there to have fun. They're there to, be entertained. That the more serious stuff comes when you're doing the songwriting rounds, things like that, and that's when I don't take shots.
Right. Uh, that and I have so many people that say that, it's like, yeah, let's take a shot. And when you say honey, that'll coat your throat. I don't know if it does it with Jack Daniels, but honey will coat your throat. So that kind of answered two questions right there together, because the next question was going to be what's your go-to drink. So
Do you see that comment on the screen?
I do, yes.
Mom, I sent you the link. That's my other drink, Jaeger bombs.
Yeah,
That's the other
oh,
one.
that stuff just makes me shiver. I can just, oh man.
It's an acquired taste.
Yes, it is. And I haven't acquired it yet.
Not yet. That's the key word, yet.
Right. Right. Well, you have to drink it in order to acquire it. And I since I haven't acquired it, I don't drink it a whole lot. If you could go back and change one thing about your music career, what would it be?
I would say probably I wish I would have gotten into guitar playing earlier in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I picked it up a little bit after I started singing. I have a song that's about Jaeger bombs and hot moms.
I wondered about that because you said you had, and I'm like,
I got t-shirts made up and everything. That's one I would only play in New Jersey. I would never bust that out down here.
oh, now come on, go on. Hey, you never know. That could be your breakthrough song right there.
And if it is, then it would all make sense. It would all make sense for real. But yeah, I mean, I wish I picked up guitar playing a little earlier. I mean, I'm not bad by any means, but there's definitely some parts of my songwriting I feel like could have improved if I was able to play better.
Right. Apparently, with all the comments here after that, and people are commenting in, it seems like Jaeger bomb seems to be kind of your go-to.
Maybe I gotta reevaluate my answer.
Your answer, your mom's here. Who is this? Timmy Frost. Is that your?
Yeah, that's my brother.
Okay, I thought so. I'm guessing that's the two of you in this picture.
No, the guy on the right is my sister's new husband as of like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we were back in New Jersey this past weekend for the wedding, actually.
All right. So the brother and the brother-in-law.
That's so weird to say. Yeah, brother-in-law.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very new.
Yeah, right. Still haven't decided if that's right or not.
I'm gonna let him know in a couple of weeks.
Right. Give the final seal of approval, right?
It's not too late. I'll let him know.
So earlier when we were talking about writing and Zoom writing, do you prefer to write alone or do you prefer to write with co-writers?
I mean, it depends. Some days I will just want to be by myself, write a song, But I really do feel like getting the best out of a song, having the song in mind, is with other people. Now, depending on who those people are, if you go into a write with a great idea, but the people that are there don't understand it or they're not the best, partners to write with, it could totally
Right.
butcher a song. And I might think, oh, I should have wrote this myself. It happens. But some songs that I think I could write myself that I want to keep it to myself, I will just write them. But ideas that I think I could use some help on, which there are a lot of them, that's the ones that I really try to bring to co-writes.
Oh, okay. Good deal. If you could go back, uh, let's say 7 years, and talk to, we're kind of pulling a Brad Paisley here. If
Mhm.
you could go back 7 years and talk to, the younger you, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Um, I would tell myself that there's going to be a lot of places that say no. There's going to be a lot of opportunities that seem like they're golden and then they just come crashing down, but never to give up because I've had a lot of people say no. I've had a lot of things come crashing down on me in my musical career, that is. But, on the other side, it's always worked out. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Um, but, it was kind of hard, different opportunities and things falling through. People promise one thing, um, very disheartening. But if I had somebody to tell me to keep going, luckily I did at the time. Um, could have turned out different for me. I could have been still in crawl spaces and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I'd tell myself. I'd say do it to stay out of the crawl spaces.
Right. And people, a lot of the artists that I've talked to, they've always told me, or a lot have told me, I don't have a plan B. This is it. This is the only plan I got.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I
they,
mean, I mean, I was always growing up told to always have a fallback plan. Uh,
Mhm.
and I don't want to have to think like that. Worst case scenario, I could just go back into the family business, I guess. Um, but why do I want to crawl around in an attic all day?
Right.
When I could be on stage playing my songs. So in my mind, I don't have a plan B, but it's always a comforting feeling to know that you know, God forbid anything happened, you'd be able to sustain yourself.
Right. Right. And there's always that. Not to mention, I'm sure you have friends that on occasion, say, "Hey, I'm glad you're an HVAC guy. I got an issue."
All the time, you got no idea. They're like, oh, by
It's
the
like,
way, you want to come over? Yeah, can you look at this shirt here?
right? Hey, come over and have dinner. Man, it's dreadfully hot. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. The AC's not
yeah,
working. Can you look
yeah.
at it?
It's a coincidence. I got a whole toolbox right here. But yeah, it's always that and never. Hey, I got a guitar. Want to play a song? And never. So,
Right. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. So, what kind of shows do you have coming up?
the next two that I have on the books, I got a whole couple writers rounds here in Nashville. I'm playing at the Commodore Grill. Um,
Mhm.
back in, I'm going up to upstate New York at the end of the year, kind of in the fall time. Place called Turning Stone. That's in upstate New York. A couple shows in New Jersey lined up, but I'm playing at this place called Sidelines Bar and Grill in Fairfield. End of October. Got another one, place called 1776 by Chef David Burke. It's like a bar type
Mhm.
atmosphere. That's in New Jersey as well. I've really been more focused recently on the whole writing rounds and songwriting,
Right.
um, but still do have some shows scattered around, tri-state area, I'd say, East Coast. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are my next big ones. And I think the next most recent one I have, I'm playing at the Commodore September 28th upcoming.
Okay.
So that's in town. So that'll be cool to get out, play some original songs, share the writing behind it, which I always love doing.
Right. So the New Jersey shows, are those primarily going to be band shows? Are those solo? Like right
Yeah.
around.
So those New Jersey shows, those are going to be full band shows,
Okay.
ranging from either an hour set to about 3 hours because it's either like a concert or like a show type thing.
Right.
I got a couple of those. I got them all listed on my website. If anybody's watching and wants to check them out.
Right.
Um, yeah, those are always fun.
And I didn't do this earlier. I usually do this and I didn't do it. So hang on a second here. Let me do a quick, what in the world? I got stuff going left and right all over the place here. I don't think this is what that's not what I'm looking for. Here we go. I apologize. Like I said, I usually have this done ahead of time, and I don't know why I didn't do this.
Uh-oh.
Uh, it's just to help for folks. I just like to help people out. So, and then we'll show it. There we go.
There we go. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That's what you call it's not being unprepared. It's just being old and forgetful.
That's all. I forgot too.
It's called CRS.
I appreciate
And
it.
not the Nashville kind, right?
Yeah.
I've suffered from that in Nashville and other parts of the world.
Just in general.
Right. So you got some stuff out. You're on all the streaming platforms. You've got your social media. Um, one question I have: your TikTok handle. What is that? Sorry, I got a bug flying in my face here.
Yeah, my TikTok, it's Gary Frost Music.
Okay.
I actually, so talking about the heating and air thing, I combined that with my music, and I kind of made a whole series about it. And it blew up like massively. Like I'm
Oh,
right
wow.
now thinking about like 130,000 followers, something like that.
Right.
And that did really well for me. It got my song "Pretty Mad" on TikTok like listened to over 10 million times before it even came out, which is
Wow.
pretty cool. So I think that's why the streaming has done so well so far after it came out. But on that, I did this series called "Things a Man Ought to Know," and it was pretty much just like combining like me doing like basic like things around the house, do it yourself type things. I'm very handy, and just combining it with like my music, like throwing in like little things here and there. Like by the way, this is my stuff. Go check it out. Like it just blew up. It just took off, and it's
Right.
every day it's growing, which is you know things blow up for no reason. And if I can
Right.
put my music in there and help it out, it's a win-win.
Speaking of things blowing up, I've got one more question for you because I want to find out people's thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. This new guy that everybody seems to be talking about right now, besides yourself, everybody's talking about Gary
Mhm.
Frost, but they're talking about Oliver Anthony.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
what's what's your take on this guy?
I mean, I just listened to his song actually. What is it? Northman, North of Richmond or something?
Richmond, north of Richmond, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Um, it's just that sound that everybody loves right now. That traditional Zach Bryan kind of him and a guitar, soulful type thing. I dig it. I mean, it's not my style, but I can respect it. It's like that's the music that just comes straight from the heart. You could tell that guy's been through some crap. Like,
Yeah.
but like people like that they deserve that. I mean, to have that kind of success, he probably wasn't even expecting that. He probably posted that song and went to bed, and then woke up and it
Yeah.
was number one. Like it's just the random people like that. It's just like good for him.
Yeah.
Definitely
I
deserves
heard
that. I like
today
it
that he has made $350,000 off the royalties of that song
already.
in like 2 weeks that it's blown up. 3 weeks, something like that.
That I guarantee he posted that and just went to bed or something. Just
Oh yeah.
that's nuts. Yeah. I mean, see, like excuse me, it could take 10 years or it could take 2 weeks. It's it's
Right.
just putting the
Exactly.
right song out at the right place, the right time. It really is.
Right. Right.
I like it. I
So
mean, yeah,
people are doing a lot of stuff with it. I was watching earlier where a lot of rappers are getting on board and rapping in sections of it.
that's so funny. I haven't seen those, but that's
Oh,
so funny. I mean, it's being talked about everywhere on TV. They've been talking about it, like on ESPN. They were talking about it. It's just like
yep.
the guy just caught fire, and
Yep.
that's what happens.
Yeah, and if you go to YouTube, you can see some of the videos where they've been doing that, where those rappers are jumping on and I mean, I saw like one that had 3 and one that had 2, and I think one guy I had interviewed, or I had scheduled the interview, and I don't know if I ever got him interviewed or not, named John Widowmaker.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think if we ever got connected or we couldn't get connected. If we haven't, I need to get him on, especially now. But not especially now. I should have had him on before. But anyway, that just sounded really rude and really just uncalled for of me. Especially now that he's, on an actual song. No, the guy's good. The guy's good. So sorry, John. I hope you're not watching because he'll never talk to me again.
Uh-oh. We're sorry.
Right. So if you guys, if you're looking to check out Gary, be sure to go check out his social media. Go check out his all the songs on the DSPs and the new one, of course, Pretty Mad. Great song. It will be on our Spotify playlist for Before Nashville after we get off the show. I always do that whenever I interview somebody following the show. I always put their song on our Spotify playlist. So if you want to go check it out, and for whatever reason you don't know how to spell Gary Frost or you're not sure what the name of the song is, just go to our Spotify playlist. It's on there, but it helps Gary out. And if you like the song, put it on your playlist. There you go. Makes it easy.
Win-win.
Let's see what we can do. And so, all right, mom's bragging on you. I think you said this was your mom. So correct me if I'm wrong here. I got to show you this last comment here.
Pretty mad, pretty great. Yeah, that's my mom. Thank you.
No
Mom.
bias there, mom. None whatsoever.
Yeah. Do you know how to spell my name, Mom? I don't know.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So everybody take care. And again, Gary, thanks for coming on tonight, man, and hanging out. I've had a blast and it's been great talking to you. We'll keep an eye on things and look for you the next time we're in Nashville. I'll let you know and maybe we can catch you somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great night and we'll see you again real soon.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Before Nashville on all social media and listen wherever you get your podcast. Tune in again for another country star of tomorrow on Before Nashville with George Davis. I'm Kevin Casey on behalf of Worldwide Pants. Have a great night.